Hey associates! Alright, so this video is just going to talk about the training or instructional material assignment due on July 6th by 1 p.m. Okay, so for this assignment, you are going to develop materials for an intern or like a new hire based on the skills in your industry. So kind of pretend that you have, the mid-level job from our industry analysis, right? And now, so you're in charge of maybe an intern or have a little team underneath you, and you need to create some, brief, just instructional or training materials for your new hires that are coming in. So like, for example, if budgeting is really important in your industry and that career, then you might develop, materials on Excel or something. So basically just pick a core skill that is related to your career aspirations, your industry, and then create just these really concise training materials about that core skill with kind of that new hire intern audience in mind, right? So it's really open, to whatever you want to do it on, right? There's so many skills in all of the industries. So I'm definitely excited to see what everybody comes up with. It should be a really cool, fun assignment, and maybe we'll share them or something. But anyway, so the key task basically said you're creating training materials for new internet work, right? They have general knowledge of like the industry and position, but maybe not like these specific details, or maybe these materials are just things you want to make sure that they are really, really strong in and know what to do. So you have a lot of breadth in the materials you want to create. You can do a poster, you can do a really short handbook, standard operating procedures. Those are really common, especially for those of you in like STEM and construction management. You might want to play with that. A safety handout, again, construction management, safety, so important, right? Or for those of you in more of the multimedia industries, feel free to create a short video to explain that job aspect to your new hire. Just make sure no matter what your materials are, right, we need to have a good orientation to the task. So a little brief, paragraph or blurb explaining, here's the task I'm going to tell you about, and here's why it's important for the industry and the job. Right? And then also make sure your training materials have key images and terms, right? So that way your intern can actually complete the job correctly. We've spent some time going over and talking about different graphics and the importance of images and visuals to complement text and verbal. So integrate that into your training materials. This is a fairly short, assignment, just so you can kind of get that understanding of writing nice, quick, like instructions and how to like write a training thing. So it's really only going to be 1 to 3 pages max. So like a training poster will probably be 1, maybe make it a little bit bigger or something. If you do like a standard operating procedure for, turning on a particular piece of equipment, maybe you'll be closer to 3 pages. If you have, lots of headings and sort of bullet points as the step-by-step, it's really up to you. So there's some range, play around with a lot of good design and graphic elements. Again, appropriate steps, illustrations, definitions, and liability warnings are going to be key pieces. If you're creating a video project for this, limit it to like 2 to 3 minutes of video is plenty for that. If it's under 2 minutes, it's maybe a little too short. So 2 to 3 minutes for video, 1 to 3 pages for written materials. And let's see. Oh, if you're doing a video, don't forget, of course, that you still need to have some written components. So make sure you put in some sort of like images, some captions, animations. If you're going on this video route, I definitely expect you to be practicing some core video and multimedia production skills as it relates to your industry. So, if you just turn in like just a monologue to the camera, like I'm doing, it's not going to be as helpful. So make sure you put some, captions or little things to, again, practice more core competencies and that you have some additional work going into it. All right, so basically for this, you just need to incorporate a few minimum requirements. So no matter what, if it's a poster, a manual, or a video, you need to have an introduction orientation to the task, right? Connect it to this career or position, why it's important. You need to have at least, but this is the minimum, right? One illustration or image that increases comprehension. So not just some decorative, floofy thing, like it needs to actually connect to the step and help me understand that step more. And then have some sort of glossary of critical terms or additional resources that the intern can turn to. So you're really thinking about, again, what questions might your intern have and how can you help them be more successful instead of, running to you with every single question. So the better you do on this training materials, hopefully the less work than you would have in the future, because your intern wouldn't have to, bother you so much with questions and have you redo the work because they did it wrong, something like that. To earn an A, right, all the usual, make sure you're incorporating design and clarity, our 6 C's, all that stuff. But really, you need to walk the intern through this process in really concrete terms, while also demonstrating your grasp of the skill, your knowledge of any, equipment, things that are needed, and the importance of completing, having that skill, completing that duty for your industry. And it should look really nice and professional, like it could be used in orientation or training for something, for that intern. If you are on the teaching track and in education, you could do training materials for new students in your classroom. Could be how they are gonna, turn in work in your 6th grade classroom or whatever it is, tailor it. Just make sure you're training someone in sort of a new higher position. Skills to practice. If you do all this, right, you'll be identifying a key skill and process relevant to your workplace. You'll be providing some useful training materials. This could also, live in your portfolio to show, future just employers, like, hey, here's a really cool graphic, written thing that I did about the industry, and I could totally make this within the position. It could be an added value thing, or if it comes up in a cover letter or interview, something like that. It's something that maybe a lot of people don't have as much experience with or don't think about the fact that they've done. So, you could use that to help stand apart potentially. And then also, most importantly for this, determining appropriate and helpful illustrations. And then the key objective is just to understand the necessary steps required to teach a novice. So really, training and giving instructions. There's something we have to practice. We notice when instructions are really bad, but not so much when they're good. So let's practice making really good ones so your interns and employees can do their job and you don't have to micromanage them so much. All right. Bye.